It's a little too early for this. I know this little fart can Honda's not trying to like race me or anything. He couldn't be. Oh my God. You better tell your girlfriend to take her feet out of that window. Because those airbags are vicious. What's going on with this shit? Look at all these people. Oh, come on, really? Get out of the way!
Enjoy this last Sunday of
Yeah. Come on, let's go. What's this guy doing? Let's go. Slow ass kid. Are you kidding me? Get out of the way! Get out of the way, I got a Honda race. Oh shit. Hey, what's up, buddy? Bye! Bye! Bye-bye! Bye-bye, little slow Honda. Bye-bye. Bye! Bye! I don't think so. Oh, look, he's back. Hey, look at that. What's wrong with you, BMW? Get out of the way! Oh, my God. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Slow-ass BMW. Jesus Christ. No, don't turn them yellows on. I got blocked. This guy. What is this guy doing? What is this guy doing? Look at this guy. Look at him and his girlfriend. Look at him. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna calm it down now because at this point I'm a little exhausted. Uh-oh. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Is that a cop? No, it's not. I can tell he's not a cop because he doesn't have roof rails. So I'm just gonna calm it down. Look at this guy. Hi. Hi. How are you? They must know who I am. He must know who I am. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna let him go. I'm gonna let him go. Hi. Yeah, so oh shit, went right back into battery saver mode. That's not a good thing. But I've got my charger with me, so I'm not really worried about it. This guy is driving so slow. I've decided that, I've noticed that a lot of YouTubers who still bother to stream about what's going on with Mopar products, which are, currently the parent company is Stellantis. So ultimately, I've decided it's like, I'm going to make maybe a series of short videos, maybe even rants, depending upon how I feel about it, detailing what ultimately I see is the death of Chrysler and the death of Dodge. I've talked about it in some of my other videos, but, I'm going to just use the news stories to guide me, to inspire me on what to say, because I haven't even read the news story yet. So, I don't, I'm just basically reacting to what the news is basically saying. So here's the story. It says Stellantis will lay off an unspecified number of factory workers in the coming months. So here you have a picture of this Halcyon concept. Now, by the way, they haven't even built this thing. They were promising us that they were going to give us, what was it called? The Airflow, the Chrysler Airflow. And years have passed. And I did see the concept Airflow at the International Auto Show last year, but this year it was a no-show. It was the only Stellantis products you really saw were Jeep and I think maybe Ram, but I can't even remember if there was any Ram products. But what I do remember is last year they had the Ram electric truck, they had the Demon 170, they had the Jeep show outside where you could sit in there and ride along in the Jeeps. But for the most part, this year, Dodge was a no-show. And last year, with the exception of the Demon 170, the only other thing I think they had was the Charger EV concept, which was the Banshee EV concept. But it was this year was a no-show. It was what's going on, And they're supposed to be, now keep in mind, this was the New York International Auto Show for 2024. They're supposed to be releasing the Dodge Charger EV this year. And in addition to that, next year they're supposed to be releasing the 6-pack, which is an i6 that is turbocharged. And there was nothing. And I'm really, really shocked about that. So it says Jeep maker Stellantis is planning to lay off an unspecified number of workers at its U.S. factories in the coming months to deal with a rapidly changing global auto market. The statement comes as the company faces increasing capital spending to make the transition from gasoline vehicles to electric autos. It also has reported declining U.S. sales in the first quarter. Yeah, well, that's because your dealers have marked these cars up astronomically, and on top of that, the banks refuse at this point to lend money to cars that they know have inflated MSRPs. And on top of that, the insurance companies refuse to insure vehicles that have inflated MSRPs. Now, I could talk right now about what's going on with the Demon 170 market, because first of all, one of the things you got to understand about the Demon 170, that thing is really a Dodge Challenger Red Eye. That's what it says on the sticker. And then when you look further down the sticker, it says Demon 170 is a package that is applied to the Dodge Challenger Red Eye. So the banks and the insurance companies are backing away from these things like you wouldn't believe. And then since so many of these cars are sitting on those lots, some of them suffering from lot rot, a lot of these banks don't want to finance them at all. And they say, yeah, if you want to finance this, you could pay your own money and you could put 30 to 40% of your money down and we'll maybe give you the other 60%, but they don't even want to do that. So it's turning into an ugly situation. But anyway, says it is also reported declining U.S. sales in the first quarter, and it has higher costs due to a new contract agreement reached last year with the United Auto Workers Union. Stellantis has about 43,000 factory workers. These actions will help improve productivity and ensure the company's long-term sustainability in a rapidly changing global market. That's a nice way of saying we're going to lay off half of you motherfuckers, and we're going to make the other half of you work harder. That's basically what they're saying. So anyway, the company wouldn't give details of when the indefinite layoffs would start or state specific reasons for them. But the trade publication Automotive News reported Monday that Stellantis had laid off 199 full-time workers at its Ram pickup factory in Sterling Heights, Michigan. The company also has laid off some white-collar workers this year. Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares has said his company has to work on cutting costs globally in order to keep electric vehicles affordable for the middle class. Electric vehicles, he has said, cost about 40% more than those powered by gasoline. Without cost reductions, EV will be too expensive for the middle class, shrinking the market and driving costs up more, Tavares has said. Stellantis reported that its vehicle sales were down nearly 10% from January through March compared with a year earlier. Now, here's the thing that's interesting to me about electric vehicles. China is able to build electric vehicles extremely cheap. First of all, they don't really have labor unions, for one. And second of all, they have a load of manpower. So they're able to build these things very cheaply. They also have a lot of control over the raw materials needed to build EV. The interesting thing to me is I had come across a comment on the internet which had basically said that electric vehicles make more sense when they're not luxury cars. They make more sense when they are inexpensive, cheap grocery getters or daily drivers back and forth to work or school or whatever it is. And I actually had to agree with that because, see, luxury cars in general suffer from fast depreciation. But when you add in an electric vehicle component to that luxury vehicle, now it depreciates even faster because you got to deal with the battery, you got to deal with the changes in technology and so forth and so on. And when I really think back and I look at Tesla's strategy, I have to say Tesla actually did the smart thing. They made the Model 3 and the Model Y, kept the cost as low as possible by not basically putting anything in there except seats and a steering wheel and an iPad, and that's it. And you have to actually really look at it in retrospect and notice that the Model Y is pretty much the best-selling car right now in the world. And that's pretty much the reason why. It's big enough for your family because most people ain't even having kids no more. And even the Model 3 is a decently sized car compared to the Prius and compared to the Nissan Altima and everything, because those things have bubble roofs and everything. They're very spacious. So the way I see it is Stellantis ultimately, they don't care about American cars, and they damn sure don't give a shit about Dodge or Chrysler. And the way I see it is they're going to kill off Dodge and Chrysler. And they know that, first of all, without Hemi V8s, Dodge is irrelevant and it has no reason to exist. And that's just the bottom line. Chrysler, you could say the same exact thing. They killed off the Hemi, they killed off the SRT Chrysler 300, and Chrysler is still able to exist just selling minivans. So that just tells you right there that if you can still sell minivans and you can still sell V6 Chrysler 300s, then, maybe you don't need that V8 that much. And part of the reason why FCA got rid of the all-wheel drive Hemi and the Chrysler 300 was because they said the take rate was low. They said it was only about a 15%. Now, they never gave us the Hellcat, so we never got to see how well that would have sold. But they got rid of the V8, and I'm still seeing Chrysler 300s rolling around out there, the 300S, with or without a V8. I'm still seeing them rolling around out there. So maybe they're right. And another thing you got to remember, Chrysler is sold in left and right-hand drive. Dodge is not sold in right-hand drive. Dodge is only sold in left-hand drive. So Stellantis, being a Dutch company, European company, the only thing they're looking out for is Australia, Europe, and Canada, America. And for the most part, they want a vehicle that they can sell in both territories or both areas or regions. So they don't care about Dodge. I personally believe that within maybe about 10 years, Dodge is going to be dead. That's what I see. Because the mere fact that they're pushing these electric vehicles onto an audience that they know absolutely doesn't want electric vehicles, that tells me right there. It's like they don't care about you, or they don't care about your ego, and they just don't care. So it appears to me that that's ultimately what's going to become a Dodge. I don't think it's even going to take 10 years. I think that the company is going to be defunct. It's going to end up like Pontiac. It's going to end up like, you don't remember how Cadillac had Pontiac and Buick underneath it? GM killed off Pontiac. Most people really didn't even notice. And Buick basically faded into obscurity here in America. Now, in China, Buick is a big name, but for the most part in America, people just buy Buick just cuz. It's like they don't aspire to have a Buick. And it's sad, but that's just what it is. It's like some people buy Buicks because they've always bought Buicks, but nobody aspires to want a Buick. Could Buick change that? Well, absolutely they could, but they'd have to have an exciting product that I absolutely don't think that they could make at this point. For example, when I was a kid, I never aspired to have a Chrysler or Dodge. But then the Hemi V8 and the Chrysler 300 came out of nowhere. And, by putting that onto the market, I enjoyed the 300. I really never wanted a Dodge. I didn't want a Charger. I didn't want a Challenger. I liked the Chrysler 300 a lot, but when I realized they weren't going to give us a 300 Hellcat, I was like, yeah, it's time to just move on. So I ended up getting a Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT. And the reality is, it's like, I never aspired to own a Chrysler when I was a kid. I never aspired to own a Dodge product when I was a kid. But by building an exciting product transcends your aspirations. So now you're looking at what they're doing to Ram, and ultimately they're cutting back on sales for Ram. They're cutting back on production for Ram because of declining sales, or at least that's what they say. So for the most part, I was on their lots, and I noticed a hell of a lot of Ram trucks just sitting there. And I have to say, it's like, when are they going to take these markups, the markups that they have on these cars, when are they going to take these away? Because the longer these cars sit there, like, it's funny because you had a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers, oh yeah, well, they're going to be forced to mark down the cars. They're going to be all you got to do is wait, and by the end of the month or the end of the year, you're going to see these massive markdowns. Okay, well, when they do mark down the cars, now you have a situation where the banks refuse to finance them. So, yeah, there are a handful of people that have cash money. But the vast majority of people aren't walking into a Dodge dealership with cash. They're walking in with a credit score and maybe just enough for a down payment. And that's it. So the reality is, it's like, if they don't take these markups off these cars, those cars are just going to sit there. And what's interesting to me is what's going to happen when the 2024 electric vehicles start coming in and start coming off those trucks. What are they going to do with the Hellcats that they have marked up to $100,000? What are they going to do with the Demon 170s that they have marked up to $150,000 or $200,000? What are they going to do with the Dodge Durango Hellcats that they have marked up to like $100,000? What are they going to do with all that stuff? Like, are they going to hold on to them as collector items and basically wait for somebody to come along with a lot of cash? Are they going to just sell them to a couple of rich people who want, a Hemi-powered car and can't get anything else? Rich people who normally would buy a Lamborghini? Because that's the only logical thing that they could do at this point. If the banks refuse to finance these things and the insurance companies refuse to cover these things, then the only people you could possibly sell this stuff to are the super rich. The people who normally could buy a Ventador or a Revuelto or something like that. Like, those are the only people who'd be able to afford this stuff. And they'd also be the only people who could insure this stuff, because the insurance companies are literally saying, we're not going to insure it because we know that the values are inflated. So it's actually an interesting conundrum that I think they're going to have, because when those 2024 electric vehicles start showing up, they're going to have to do something, because their lots are full. I've never seen their lots fuller than I'm seeing their lots now. The used car lots are full. The new car lots are full. Cars have been sitting there for a while. And it's weird because some of them look like they've been sitting there a while, a long time. But they're just going to have to figure that out. So part of that story is Stellantis laying off nearly 400 salaried workers to handle uncertainty in EV transition. March 22nd, 2024. Okay, yeah, so this is older than the first story I read. That was only like 3 days ago. So yeah, they were just talking about Auburn Hills, Michigan, and Detroit, and this, that, and other. Stellantis continues to make the appropriate structural decisions. The cuts effective March 31st amount to about 2% of Stellantis' U.S. workforce in engineering, technology, and software. The statement said workers will get a separation package and transition help. Transition to where? Where are you going to go? Ford? You're going to go to GM? Where are you going to go? U.S. electric vehicle sales grew 47% last year to a record 1.19 million as EV market share rose from 5.8 in 2022 to 7.6. But sales growth slowed toward the end of the year in December. They rose 34%. And I think most of that was due to the tax credit. Because if you remember, the tax credit basically expired by January 1st. So whoever hadn't bought a EV up until that point, most likely they weren't planning on buying one. And then I think it was by the mid of December, that's when you started hearing people with the horror stories about having trouble charging their cars, and people in Alberta, oh, it's freezing, my car is preconditioning the battery, and it's cold, and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I guess there's that. It says Stellantis plans to launch 18 new electric vehicles this year, 8 of those in North America, increasing its global EV offerings by 60%. But Tavares told reporters during earnings calls last month that the job is not done until prices on electric vehicles come down to the level of combustion vehicles, something that Chinese manufacturers are already able to achieve through lower labor costs. The Chinese offensive is possibly the biggest risk that companies like Tesla and ourselves are facing right now. Tavares told reporters, we have to work very, very hard to make sure that we bring our consumers better offerings than the Chinese. Last year, Stellantis offered buyout and early retirement package to about 6,400 non-union salaried workers, but it has not said how many took the offers. In 2022, the company announced that it planned to close a factory in Belvidere, Illinois, and lay off 1,350 people in an effort to trim its manufacturing footprint. But during contentious contract talks last year with the United Auto Workers, Stellantis agreed to keep the plant open to make EVs, as well as add a battery factory in Belvidere. The world's third largest car maker reported net profit of 7.7 billion euros in the second half of last year. That was down from 8.8 billion euros in the same period a year earlier. Okay. The Stellantis workforce reductions come after crosstown rivals Ford and General Motors cut thousands of white-collar jobs, also due to the transition to electric vehicles. In the summer of 2022, Ford let go of about 4,000 full-time and contract workers in an effort to cut expenses. CEO Jim Farley has said much of Ford's workforce did not have the right skills as it makes the transition from internal combustion to battery-powered vehicles. About 5,000 salaried GM workers many in engineering took early retirement and buyout offers last spring. So I have to also look in retrospect, not only at Tesla, but I also have to look at Ford. Ford really did the smart thing And I knew it was a smart thing that they were doing. It's just that I didn't agree with it and I didn't appreciate it. But when Ford gave up their V8 engines in their large vehicles, the F-150, the Navigator, the Expedition, and they put that boring V6 twin-turbo ego boost. I call it ego boost with EGO because it boosts your ego. I could have had a V8, but I didn't. It's supposed to boost your ego, and you're supposed to feel like you're riding on a cloud. And what you don't get that low frequency grumble of a V8, and you also don't get those those premium gas prices of a V8. But see, I had the Triton V8 in a 2002 Ford Expedition, and it was overall a decent truck. It was a powerful truck. It was a good V8. It was a strong V8. And it used, from what I remember, I think it used regular unleaded. And if I'm not mistaken, the Lincoln Navigator, up until about 2010, also used regular unleaded without a problem. Now, from what I remember, you could use middle grade fuel if you wanted to, but as far as I remember, you didn't actually have to. But if I'm not mistaken, I think you got slightly lower gas mileage, and you also made less power if you choose to use the lower grade fuel, but it wasn't a problem though. Meanwhile, you step into the Hemi V8, and now you're using premium for every single gallon, and you're really not allowed to use lower grade. You have to use 93. I think you're allowed to use 91. But you definitely, for the 6.4s and the 6.2 Hellcats, you're not allowed to go below 93. For the 5.7, you're allowed to use middle grade. But Ford did the smart thing. They said, you know what, let's just get rid of these things altogether. Let's get rid of these V8s. Let's put this Ego Boost in there. And we'll have our trucks powered by Ego Boost V6, and we'll have the Navigator powered by Ego Boost V6. So now you've got these huge Navigators. I think these things weigh like 7,000 pounds. And you've got these huge trucks rolling around with Ego Boost V6 engines. Now, they would be a tad heavier if they had V8s. But from what I've seen, I don't see anybody who has a Navigator really missing the V8 that much. Now, the Escalade never made that switch from what I know. I know they had a hybrid engine in their... they had an Escalade hybrid, but they never actually made that switch. So, people are still stuck spending over $100,000 for an Escalade. And there's no reprieve. Now, even under Stellantis, the new Grand Wagoneer, they started out with the 6.4, and then they have now moved to what's called the Hurricane, the i6 engine, which is also going to be the same engine that they're going to be putting in these Chargers, these Charger six-packs. And the way I see it, it's like, these guys are bean counters, and they're cutting costs. And you got this guy at the head of Stellantis, and he refused to allow Tim Kuniskis to buy EV credits. So basically, Dodge was forced to electrify. Now, Tim Kuniskis was saying, he was standing up there basically forced to say it. He was like, oh, yeah, well, Dodge we have to electrify. Otherwise, the regulations are going to crush us and everything. And yeah, granted, he was very well may be right. It's like they didn't really have a choice, but the way I see it is Dodge is dead. It's like without those V8 engines, Dodge has no reason to exist. That six-pack, I want you to think back. Ford tried that with the Lincoln MKS and the Ford Taurus Show. How did that go? Both of those cars are discontinued and have been for a very long time. Now, I will say that Ford's biggest mistake was the interiors of those cars were too small. They were bunkerized. But for the most part, regardless how bunkerized those interiors are, both of those cars are gone now. And if I'm also not mistaken, I think both of those cars were built on a smaller platform. So basically, you had a large car built on a smaller platform. And that didn't help at all. if I'm not mistaken, it was a smaller platform that had been used by Volvo, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a stupid move. And Chrysler actually did the smart thing, and they say, hey, I got a great idea. Let's make these cars big, huge, and fucking fast. So they say, yeah, oh, you know what? Instead of making it on a small platform, let's make a really big platform. Oh, yeah, okay, great, yeah, clap, clap, clap. That's brilliant. Oh, and I got a great idea. How about we put so much fucking horsepower in this thing that you can run from cops and they can't catch you? Oh, clap, clap, clap. That's brilliant. Audience applause. Yes, that's brilliant. Yes, brilliant. And then somebody else said, hey, I got a better idea. How about we take our full-size SUVs and we make those big, huge, and fucking fast too? And everybody said, you know what? That's a great idea. And then they did that. And sure enough, those cars were selling. It's Jeeps, Jeep Grand Cherokees, Dodge Durango. Everything's selling. Oh, wait, I got a great idea. How about we make it so that you can choose which engine you want. So you'll give you like 4 choices of engines. And we'll have like the best 8-speed we could possibly have. And the car will be really fucking fast. And the cops won't be able to catch you. That's a brilliant idea. Yes, clap, 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 clap. Everybody's applauding. And now you got these Dutch people. And they're like, oh, yeah. Well, we can't sell this stuff here in Dutchland or wherever the fuck they live. And the Netherlands. I know they live in the Netherlands. And basically they're like, yeah, I got a great idea. Hey, let's kill off Dodge by selling electric vehicles that nobody wants. Oh, yes, my friend. That's a great idea. Clap, clap, clap. And now this is where you are. You're done. Now, this is a really interesting story, which I think has to be taken in context with this news about these automotive manufacturers moving towards electric vehicles. See, I had already said, yeah, I'm done with the gas guzzlers. I'm already going to move to electric. And I did. And I put my money where my mouth was. So gas prices here, if you go to Costco or BJ's, as you saw in my last video, are about $4 a gallon. And what is this? They're saying soaring gas prices hit $7.29 a gallon in California town above the federal hourly minimum wage. Oh, well, I thought just giving everybody a federal minimum wage, I thought that was supposed to solve everything. That's what the politicians said, right? Isn't that what they said? They said, yeah, well, if we give them $15 an hour, it's like that's going to make the difference. Yeah, that's what I heard. I guess it didn't work. So anyway, it says drivers in one Silicon Valley town in California are forking over $7.29 for 1 gallon of regular unleaded as the price of gas continues to soar nationwide. The eye-popping price per gallon at the Chevron gas station in Menlo Park was 4 cents above the federal hourly minimum wage. One stunned ex-user posted on Sunday. Fellow users on X were appalled by the price, commenting, geez, imagine working for an hour for 1 gallon of gas, and that's before taxes. Needs fixing, another said, while a fourth chimed in, looks like people will be walking to work. Filling up a 20-gallon tank would cost nearly $150. The Chevron... Okay, it says the Chevron gas station at 3,600 Alameda de Los Pulgas is in fact charging 5 cents more than the federal wage. Okay. It says while California hiked its minimum wage at the start of the year to $16 an hour and boosted it to $20 an hour for fast food workers on April 1st, the pain at the pump remains the highest in the Golden State, which charges an average of $5.44 a gallon. So that's, if they're saying an average of $5.44 a gallon, that must be including regular and premium and possibly middle grade too. Because in California, from what I know, they have mostly 91 octane instead of 93. But anyway, national average gas prices have creeped up to $3.68 a gallon, rising from $3.53 a month ago, according to Gas Buddy, which tracks prices at the pump in real time. See, the problem that I have with these numbers is that they're not telling you if this is regular unleaded or premium unleaded. What I need is to know if this is the average for regular unleaded, the average for premium unleaded or if this is the average of regular and premium. I really don't know. But this is how, see, this is the shit that I'm talking about. You know, when I was in elementary school, we were taught to pay attention to all of the details. Ironically, we were all able, even the dumbest kids in the class, we were all reading on a 12th grade level by the time we were in like 5th grade. And the reality is, when I look at today's shoddy journalism, when I look at, it's almost like reading AI created these stories. It's like the journalism, it just doesn't dig deep enough, and that's how these politicians are able to lie. You know, they're able to lie and twist the truth because even the journalists aren't thorough. If I was thorough, I would be bringing you some shit that looked like a PhD wrote it, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, look at all these details." You know, it's like you're not telling me enough, because if you're just saying it's $3.53, that doesn't tell me the whole story. A lot of these people have turbocharged cars. A lot of these people have luxury cars. It's like, well, anyway, the surging gas prices were largely to blame for inflation remaining stubbornly high in the latest consumer price index for March, which showed prices have risen to 3.5%. First of all, inflation isn't caused by high gas prices. Who the fuck is writing this shit? Inflation is caused when the Federal Reserve prints money. It has nothing to do with the gas prices. Gas prices don't cause inflation. Inflation causes higher gas prices. Like, there on YouTube, there's a brilliant cartoon, and I've showed this before, but unfortunately I can't show it because I guess the Bilderberg group must know that I tried to put it in my video. It's a DuckTales episode where they explained inflation very simply. And they basically explain when you increase the money supply, that causes everybody to have to raise their prices, because what happens is demand is going to rise because more people have more money. And if demand rises, supply can't keep up with demand. So the people selling stuff at the store, they're going to run out of products. So they end up having to raise prices. Well, the same thing happens with gas. They have to end up raising prices in order to keep up with apparently more money in people's pockets. But the problem isn't that more people have more money. The problem is more people have access to credit, and they have access to expanded money in the supply. That's the problem. So the demand grows for just about everything. Right now, you're feeling that with houses, and you're feeling that, with groceries. And, they've really, man, it's like, I hate it. And you see what I'm reading. You see gas prices going up are caused by inflation. It's not the other way around. It's like, who's writing this stuff? But anyway, more than half of the hotter than expected advance was attributed to gasoline and shelter. What? According to the data bureau, more than half of the hotter than expected advance was attributed to gasoline and shelter. What are you talking about? Rent and housing? Oh, God. Anyway, let's see. So this person posted a photo. 729, 759, 779. Oh, my God. Yeah, you guys are getting screwed. Oh, them some titties. All right. Wait. Yeah, I got to be really careful because YouTube is really annoying about, women scantily clad and stuff. So what is this? It says 729, 759, 779. Okay. So thanks for the photo. This is Chevron, by the way. It says the minimum wage in California effective January 1st, 2024 is $16 an hour. Yeah, thanks a lot. I can't scroll back. We got some big jugglies there. Let me just stop it. And, here's the last story I'll look at for right now. Stellantis CEO thinks EV mandates will kill industry. Carlos Tavares told UK journalists that issue with zero emissions mandates is their magnitude and positioning. I think they should have said that the issue. Yeah, because it feels like I'm missing words here. By Amber De Silva. Okay, so it says jurisdictions around the world are imposing EV mandates, regulating ICE vehicles out of production and sale. This is probably a necessary step to prevent us all from drowning in our homes. I don't know what they're talking. Oh, okay, so they're saying that global warming is causing flooding and it's drowning people. And by the way, I think it was like Nebraska and Iowa. They just got hit with some tornadoes that tore them apart. And they're saying global warming causes stronger storms. So anyway, but the folks who sell ICE vehicles aren't happy about it. Case in point, Stellantis Carlos Tavares, CEO, speaking to a group of UK journalists, claimed the country EV mandates would kill its car industry. Says Tavares seems to understand part of the mandate's purpose, killing off internal combustion vehicles. But there's a more interesting section to his words. He told Autocar that the mandate itself isn't a bad idea, but it should be more in line with how sales are going anyway. Says speaking to UK journalists from Stellantis' small van factory at Elmsport, Tavares agreed with the logic behind this notion, saying, I think the fact that they're imposing a ramp up of EV sales makes sense, but adding the problem is the magnitude and positioning of the zero emission vehicle mandate vis-a-vis the natural demand of the market. A mandate that doesn't exceed current market conditions isn't really a functional or useful mandate. The point is to shift the industry to change those market conditions, but that's not the kind of move that automakers want. They want to keep building what sells now for those sweet, sweet quarterly profits rather than building what will sell in the future. If sales naturally outpace the minimums set by regulatory bodies, then those minimums don't require enforcement. If institutions are willing to lower their minimums to meet the demands of corporations, then those requirements may as well not actually exist. Mandates in line with market demand are a smart ask from Tavares because that's the kind of business speak that almost sounds meaningful until you think about it. Once you do, though, it all falls apart. And then that's basically just where it ends. So then you get down to the comments, and I had to read some of the comments. Building cars for the future, and this is by, his name is at Amber De Silva. Building cars for the future today is kind of activist speak that almost sounds smart until you think about it. And realize that it is the same as directing car manufacturers to manufacture cars of the future. People aren't wild about it and don't buy. And making them keep doing so until people do want to buy them. Forcing an entire industry, so we probably had a slip on the keyboard there, to do this is great recipe for killing that industry. He spelled the shit wrong twice, and each time he did it like worse. It's one time he got a U. Jesus. So anyway, okay, it says, yeah, I'm calling flag on the play here. Has there ever been a mandate that led to an industry being killed as a basis for this claim? There are certainly examples of specific businesses. You've got too many plurals, I think, plural perfect nouns. All right, going under due to not being able to meet a mandate, but there are always others rising up to meet them. Hell, every expert said that every government mandate for stricter emissions since the 70s was going to kill the industry, and last I checked, it's not dead. Automotive use will continue regardless of propulsion. People and companies will adapt. See, moving from V6s, V8s to Turbo 4s over the past 5 decades. Lots of people like the idea of EVs, but misinformation is rampant and pricing is still high. Because that ever so delicate industry is currently raking in epic tonnage of cash on all models, so why not? Those will both correct with time. Horses are out of the barn at this point. Next person, Volante, says, yeah, no, the government didn't tell Ford to only make trucks and sport cars. Okay, the industry shoving its fist up the goose over and over again looking for more golden eggs is going to kill the industry. But that's capitalism for you. Even small profits demonstrate failure. Okay, Stellantis CEO thinks EV mandates will kill industry. I guess the only logical thing for him to do would be a financially brilliant move to acquire Fisker to shore up their EV offerings. I don't think Stellantis wants to buy Fisker. I don't think so. I don't think so. Guy who is running his automobile company into the ground says that regulations are running the entire industry into the ground. Cool story, bro. Okay. If you can't blame everyone else for your failure, you're not much of a CEO. Okay. I like mandates. It forces innovations, and we get awesome, quirky jalopnik cars like this. That looks like an Aston Martin Fiat Smart. No, not a Fiat, but it looks like a smart car. They call it. I don't know why they ever name those things smart cars. That's like the stupidest golf car nonsense you could actually buy. But anyway, I'm old enough to remember Henry Ford II railing against safety mandates, saying that consumers are not interested in making cars safer and airbags are too expensive. He was very wrong. Back during the 1970 oil embargoes, American cars were averaging around 13 miles per gallon. There were long lines at gas stations waiting for fuel. The industry had to adapt, and Americans went right along. We got used to small cars very quickly. The problem today is that the industry learned the wrong lesson from the 2007 financial crisis, which created a cash flow crunch for the auto industry. But now manufacturers focus on maximum profit and forgot about cash flow. When the high-cost, high-profit cars fill their niche market, there is no one left who can afford them. And that's when cash flow becomes a problem again. Yeah, and that's actually wise words right there. He's right. When the high-cost, high-profit cars fill their niche market, there is no one left who can afford them, and that's when cash flow becomes a problem. Meanwhile, China is flooding the world market with EVs, cheap EVs. All I hear from this guy is, I'm a greedy asshole. Okay? So it's just this one guy and no one else. Okay? All right, so that's that. Yeah, I tell you, reading the comment sections on some channels and pages, that could be a YouTube channel in and of itself. It really could. So that's all I was gonna say. So this must be the guy here. Look at this guy. This guy looks old. Like, this guy looks like so old. He looks like Dr. Isaacs from Resident. Look at this guy. He looks like Joe Biden. He looks like Dr. Isaacs from Resident Evil Extinction. And the really evil Dr. Isaacs, he's like from the Resident Evil movies. He was played by the same guy who played Jorah Mormont on Game of Thrones. This guy looks so old. But I don't know. The bottom line is Stellantis is in trouble. See, Ford did the smart thing. They got rid of the V8s early on. They started moving towards EVs. I think they didn't do that part very well. But GM, I think out of the big three, I think GM probably has a better electric vehicle positioning. And I think GM is ultimately going to do better with EVs than Stellantis and Ford. Because the thing about it is, I think Ford was stupid in that Ford tried to replace two vehicles that are just too perfect. The F-150 is like a perfect truck, and it's been a perfect truck for so long that here you're going to put an EV that can't tow as far and can't tow as long. It's like that was a stupid move. And then they tried, okay, we're going to make an electric Mustang. It's like you could have called that the Escape and people would have accepted it. You could have called, like, the Escape is just a product that you just made up. Like, you could have called that electric Mustang the Mach-E. You could have called that thing anything else. You could have called it the Focus EV. People would have said, oh, wow, this is the greatest Focus ever. But you took the name of a pony car and you said, yeah, we're going to make this into an EV. It's like, that was just stupid. And my thing is, as Ford, you let Kia beat you to having a 3-row full-size electric SUV. The EV9, to me, is what the Ford Explorer should be. You know, it's like, I don't know what the hell's going on with these people. Maybe they want to go back into a bankruptcy era or something. Because, 2008 wasn't that long ago. I don't know. But it's like you can't replace iconic vehicles that simply. You can't do that. You just, and granted, I don't give a shit about Mustang. I will never own one. I'm not interested in anything they got. The Dark Horse, I'm not interested in. The GTD, I'm not interested in any of those cars. And the bottom line is, I understand that it's an iconic car. You can't simply just do that. It's just like the Corvette. If they came out and said, yeah, guess what? No more gas engine. We're going to make electric Corvettes. I'm pretty sure that the Corvette buying audience would be very upset. I'm very certain of that. I've seen more Z06s on the road than I've seen E-Rays, if that's what they call that thing. I haven't seen any E-Rays being driven around. But ultimately, I do think GM will do better. The whole idea of taking Jeep and turning Jeep into an EV, I think, honestly, and I'm, me, I'm a Jeep owner, and I had the top level Jeep that existed for the longest of times, and I just think that's really stupid. It's like the Jeep Grand Cherokee. And by the way, they took away the name Grand Cherokee because somebody said it was racist. It's like, that vehicle is designed for road trips. It's like, here I've got a car. Like, now granted, I would never want to take my SRT on a road trip because fuel is way too expensive and it's a gas guzzler. But the thing about it is the Jeep Grand Cherokee is designed for road tripping a family. Like with the Pentastar V6 and even the Hemi 5.7, that's a road trip vehicle. Now, I wouldn't want to road trip no V8, but that's just what it's that's what it's for. And now you're going to make this thing an EV. So that means that, now granted, what they're trying to ultimately do is they're trying to alter your behavior. Like these people who are like, oh yeah, well I could drive 500 miles in one sitting. They're trying to make it so you don't do that. They're trying to make it so that you have to stop and you have to charge. And you have to have food, you have to have a rest, you have to have a nap, you have to piss, you have to shit, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's better to stop driver fatigue and from getting, because a lot of these people be going to sleep behind the wheel and crashing into shit, killing whole families and everything. These people go to sleep and they got like sleep apnea behind the wheel and everything. It's like, maybe this is a good thing. I don't know. But I've always heard these people, oh, yeah, I could drive 100 miles. I could drive 200 miles. I could drive 300 miles in one city. Me personally, I don't like driving more than like 150 miles without a rest stop. I have to do that. It's like when I drive up to like Rhode Island, it's like I'm stopping somewhere. And chances are it'll be like if I see, what was it? The last time I went up to like Rhode Island, that was a 200-mile drive, right? And I stopped at a rest stop that had what was it? It was a Roy Rogers. And I was like, oh, Roy Rogers. I haven't seen a Roy Rogers in a long time. Maybe I'll, get some lunch and try their chicken. And I got a nice, chicken meal from Roy Rogers. And I was like, you know what? This shit is lame. No wonder why Roy Rogers is gone and Popeyes is still here. We used to have Roy Rogers, Popeyes, and Bojangles. We used to have all three. Now we only have Roy Rogers and KFC. And KFC tastes like shit. They took the trans fats out of the food, which may be good for our arteries, but it's terrible for their menu. The food is disgusting. Popeyes figured out a way to keep their chicken tasting good. Congratulations to them. But when I see a Bojangles or a Roy Rogers, it's like that brings back childhood memories. It's like, oh shit, I got to go stop there. But that's I don't want to drive 200 and 300 miles without having a rest stop. Like, and then I have a big cup of something to drink. So I'm going to have to pee every like 50 or 60 miles or something like that. So, these people, they push themselves too hard. Next thing you know, they wake up dead because they run into a car or they run into a truck. It's like, I don't believe in doing that. But my thing is, it's like, if you're going to take an iconic vehicle and you're going to turn it into something else, that's not a good idea. Now, granted, Stellantis is changing the name from Grand Cherokee to Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer, and then they're going to have the Wagoneer EV. I don't know how well that's going to go, but, the sales figures will tell us. But the bottom line is, if you don't have a house and you can't charge this thing at home, and the charging network has not been matured, you're going to have trouble selling this stuff. And you're going to have a lot of people complaining about long lines and having to wait and shit. Now, granted, they are going to make it so that you can use Tesla's charging network, which definitely helps. But they haven't done it yet. Like, I have a GM car and I'm waiting for the adapter so I can use the Tesla supercharger. I haven't heard nothing about it. They haven't said anything about it. And it could be a whole nother half a year. It could be a year. I really don't know. So without that adapter, I can't use Tesla's network. Without the update to the car, I can't use Tesla's network. So it's like, you're telling me about all these wonderful things that are coming, but those things ain't here yet. So that's a long time now. I got to wait. So that's basically it for right now. So what I'm going to basically do is every time I see these YouTubers on a tear about some new news, I'm probably just going to make my own version of it, because a lot of these guys, like, I'm listening to them. And it's like, yeah, some of them have some decent stuff to say, but a lot of them are boring. And, it's hard for me to pay attention to what they're saying. So I'll usually start playing chess while they're talking and everything. But that's all I really had to say for this video. So, questions, comments, criticisms, those can go in the URL section. Thank you for listening.
I haven't seen one of these Cadillac wagons on the road in a while. And you sure don't see that CTS-V wagon no more. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to get away from these guys over here. Don't blow at me, buddy. What's wrong with you? Yeah, these people blowing at you and everything like they ain't got no goddamn common sense. What's wrong with these people? So this is Sunday, and they got traffic up the ass. It's ridiculous. Look at this. That crazy. That must be the new GLC. That's the one that has the interior like the new S-Class. I gotta say, Mercedes did a great job with those cars. They did a really good job making those cars. I like the interior of this car. You got the interior just like the S-Class. They got the tablet shit. No, I was just gonna say I like your car. It's very pretty. All right. Yeah, you see, I'm not afraid to give compliments and shit. It's like, yeah, roll the window down. Don't be afraid. I ain't gonna carjack you. I got a better car. My car's got a V8 and shit. Look at this. Tesla Ubers. That's all they do. Tesla Uber. But you know what? I've been talking to people about this Uber with Tesla, and they're basically saying they're not making no money no more because the problem is the city is screwing them over. The city is screwing them over. It's like it's so expensive to be an Uber now. It's so expensive to be Lyft. They're not making much money no more. It's just... Hi. Yeah, so it's like, every time I go to the charging station, it's like I get a chance to talk to these people and ask them about what it's really like. And they tell you, they be like, yeah, man, they're hurting for money. Where are you going? Where are you going? Oh my God, this traffic. And this is a Sunday. Look at this guy. Don't look at me, goddammit, with that slow-ass snail blazer. Got that Chevy snail blazer. Snail blazer. He's up there looking at me and shit. Got the snail blazer. Chevy Super Snail. Guys up there looking at me. Yeah, you gotta be very careful right here, because some of these people, you get in accidents right here at these corners. You gotta be very careful. Got The Chevy Snail Blazer. Dude's up there looking. I'm in my lane. Don't worry about me. Chevy Snail Blazer. It's like, listen, buddy, when you get a V8, that's when you can talk to me, okay? Oh, what the guy's up there looking? I see you looking at me with your looking ass. You want to light it up? You better put it fast. I'm not your homeboy. I'm not your kinfolk. I got my own drink. I got my own dope. I got my own slam with Michael Jordan's on them. You don't know what that is, homie? Them 23s, homie. You want to ride on them, you got to hustle, baby. Some niggas die for them out there acting crazy. Dude's up there looking at me. So anyway, whatever. I don't know what is wrong with these people. I don't know. It's like all y'all got to do is just drive faster. That's all you got to do. Then there's no traffic. I feel bad for people who got stuck in ninja loans on these damn things, because like these things, man, it's like you got to spend all your money just to maintain these pieces of shit. It's like, whatever. Not my problem. Not really too much going on. It's about 72 degrees, 71 degrees, give or take. Not bad out here. It's nice out here. The dog, walking the dog. Next to the mall and everything. What's this guy doing? Hey, listen, where are you going? What is you doing? Look at this guy. Look at this guy. We got a truck up here. Got a truck. He's tired of this shit. He's tired of waiting. He's getting aggressive. Yeah, the battery saver light went off, but I'm not really worried anymore because now that I have my battery charger, if the car stops working and it refuses to start, I can always just, throw on the battery charger. They also had one of those overnight battery chargers, and they want like $199 for that. I think I might buy that down the road. Right now, I don't need it because I have a battery charger, or a jump starter, I should say, a portable jump starter. So, I don't think that I'm going to have to buy, one of those rolling stand-up battery charger. I don't think I'm going to need one of those, but I might get it just to have it. Because I like having, they have one that matches the company, Syntec. But for right now, it's like everything's going fine. The car's acting just fine. It's little Tesla Model 3s out here. Yeah. It's a nice day. Somebody had said they wanted me to make a video about like stocks, but for right now, there's really not much happening. Stocks took a huge dip on tech. Is that a Hellcat? That one looks like the one I had. Or maybe it's not. That probably is a Scat Pack over there. It's Just all these fucking horrible, stupid scat packs. It's like, I don't even like seeing those things. It's like, if I look at one of those cars, I expect it to be a Hellcat every time. If it's not a Hellcat, I give a goddamn about it. I wonder. It's crazy how these dealerships are trying to sell those things for so much money. They're trying to get $100,000 for those damn things. Let's see, what are you? Oh, that's a regular. That's a stupid ass scat packs. Boring. These dealerships are trying to, and it's just really crazy. It's like the dealerships are trying to treat these things like they're collector's cars. All this plastic shit ain't worth nothing, and it won't be worth nothing. And the people, I don't know how they're tricking people into buying this stuff. Stellantis trying to, oh yeah, well, if you get this, it'll be worth a lot of money in the future. No, it won't. No, it won't. Especially if you have to use it as a daily driver. This stuff is plastic. It's throwaway. All of this shit. They're literally making stuff to be disposable now. I think I will say this, as far as investment, I think one of the newest industries that's coming is, what is it called? Lithium battery recycling. I think that's going to be a new big thing. Because if you're going to be making electric cars, you're going to have to recycle the materials that were used to make them. So when Elon Musk, once he doubles down into that and he got his battery recycling business going down, that's going to be the new big thing. I was wondering if Honda has the Prologue yet, but I don't think they do. I don't think they do. Maybe they do, I don't know. I don't think they have those things yet. And I don't think Acura has the CDX yet either. Hey, who is you? You guys got a Chevy Trax. You ain't racing nobody. You better back off. You better back off. It's SRT life out here, boys. I'm gonna sneak right up on him. Look at this. I'm gonna pull right up on him. What is this? Got a Chevy Trax. Who you keeping? You can't keep up with me, boys. My car does like 170. You ain't keeping up with me. What a boring day. I almost want to go back to the charging station. I'm so bored. It's so boring out here. Look at these guys. Man, I can't wait till Bali, man. I'm going to be over there. I'm going to drink up all their liquor. I'm gonna have me a Japanese stewardess waiting on me. Be like, yes, more sake. And she's gonna be like, hi. Arigato. More sake. Drink up all their sake. I'm gonna eat up all their ramen noodles. I can't wait. Just a little while longer. Just a little while. So getting on the plane. More sake. Oh shit! They got that's an SVJ. Oh wait a minute, that's either SV or SVJ. I gotta catch up to that guy. Come on guys, y'all got to drive fast. This is bullshit. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I want to see what that is. Let's go. Freaking mini V. Get out of the way. Yeah, that's an SV. That's got to be an SV. Uh-oh. I don't want to hit him. Yep. That's an SV. Oh, shit. Look at this. Exotic repairs. Yeah, I think he sees me. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm watching you, boy. You better maintain the speed limit and shit, because you're on camera. Oh, the back does something. Look at that. It lifts up and shit. Look at that. That's cool. I think that the Lamborghini Aventador looks way better than the Revuelto. I really do. Finally, things got exciting. It's like so boring out here. I ain't got nothing to do. I think the Aventador looks way better than the Revuelto. I really do. Very nice. Damn, that thing's loud. It's a nice color. Yeah, I really think that car looks way better than the Revuelto. I think now Lamborghini, like everything they make looks so gaudy. That one looks good though. I like that. Go ahead. Go right on ahead. I have to say, the Lamborghini Aventador is the only reason why I could ever see investing in Bitcoin. Other than that, no. What's this guy doing? This guy's trying to record, but you're a little slow, buddy. You don't have an SRT badge on your Durango. You're gonna need to be a little bit faster, sir. It's just so amazing. Just like that car is obsolete. Now they got this Revuelto nonsense. It's gonna be a long time before you see YouTubers getting up that kind of money, though. It's gonna be a long fucking time before they got $600,000-$700,000 buy a Revuelto. It's gonna be a long time. It's gonna be a while. These Aventadors are still like between 4 and 5. Used. Watch out, boy. Watch out, you don't want to get hit. Watch out. I want this guy hitting you. They got the orange interior too. That shit is hot. Orange interior. That shit is fucking cool. I like that. Shit is loud as fuck, man. California is gonna put a stop to all that shit. They're gonna have like $1,000 fix it and forget, $1,000 tickets you can't fix and forget. Because we got that sleep act, that noise ordinance shit. Just when I thought everything was just so boring, all of a sudden now you get something cool. Too bad it's a V12 that, you know, soon it won't exist anymore. And eventually, you know, they're gonna get rid of all this stuff. It's gonna be all a bunch of stupid hybrids and shit nobody want. Sad. Oh, here we go. All right, come on, let's go. Come on, let's get this show on the road. Let's go. Faster. Like just a little bit further up is that Porsche dealership, South Shore Porsche, where they have a bunch of supercars that, like, I guess got too unaffordable or something. And it's like nobody's buying them. So you got BMW, Freeport BMW, and then a little bit further up you got South Shore Porsche. So yeah, right here is South Shore Porsche, and they got a bunch of supercars like nobody wants. So let's see what they got here. Look at this. Look at this. They got Porsche 911, McLaren MC20. They still can't sell that freaking stupid Maserati. Bunch of Porsches. You know, every now and then they have like Huracans and stuff. Yeah, that stuff's cute. It's like, no thanks.
To be continued.